Changeups?
Yeah.
Changeups.
Let's do some changeups. Okay. So changeups, you've admitted not necessarily your forte, right?
Not my thing.
Okay. Why?
Guys either are pretty talented at going this way with their hand, which is called supinating, or this way with their hand, which is called pronating. And there's some limiting factors in terms of how I feel comfortable throwing the ball that mean like I have a tough time getting to the inside of the ball. I'll kind of talk it through, and I guess mine's the last one, but I full-heartedly believe there's two ways to throw every pitch, right? So if you throw a slider, most guys will feel like this, and they'll wrap it, or you can pronate. Verlander does this. They pronate and kind of kick the seam the wrong way, so their hand goes like this, but the ball goes the other way because they're inducing it like that.
Yeah.
I think the changeup can be done the same way in that I'm really bad at doing this. So therefore that spin goes like this, right? I learned how to spin it the same way by pulling it the other way and creating that kind of vacuumy thing. You'll see that's why the velocity on mine is so high, because I actually have to really throw it to do it. But guys like this, Devin, and we'll see the Johan one. We have four pretty good examples. One's kind of more of a split, but this is kind of an outlier one because it's like a 3,000 RPM pitch, right? He's basically throwing a left-handed curveball in terms of where he can get. First off, throwing a curveball, getting your hand in a certain spot like that is extremely difficult for most people to throw like a really spun breaking ball like that from the front of the ball. To do it with your hand out over the other side of the ball is insane.
Yeah.
We probably haven't seen pitches anybody like this. Or Honeywell is probably the other one that's really throwing like a screwball. I mean, I know he holds a changeup and all of that, but to get the RPMs like that, I mean, this is really a screwball.
Yeah. No, I mean, Peter, you're spot on. Like, this is total screwball-y. So we go Devin, we go Tony Gonsolin, we go Johan Santana, and then we go Walker Buehler. So let's start with Devin here. I've got back-to-back pitches against Jack Sawinski, and this is him 93 at the knees for a called strike, and then he follows with a foul ball. But, I mean, that's 83. That is – we talked a ton about tunneling in our, curveball episode?
Yeah.
Like this is
the one thing I want to kind of point out here, which is interesting. So this pitch could look, so pause it like right here. Okay. So see how he's on like the first base side of the rubber, right?
Yeah.
But he ends up on the third, like almost on the other side. So this ball's really hidden for a long time, which means that he can kind of get his hand going that way really, really early. It's like the only way you can do what he's doing, right?
So when is Sawinski picking this ball up, you think?
He's probably sees some ball right there, but not a lot. And by that time, it's too late for him to figure anything out. But the interesting thing is, like, if you were to take him and move him even farther left, like this pitch would look even nastier because he could make it move so much more to the right because he's so far over here. He could shove it and it go that way and it would look even nastier than this, right? But he's found the spot that he likes to where this thing looks up and down. Now, if you watch the heater, it looks like it's a little bit right to left. That's just the angle. And especially in Milwaukee, everything kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
But this heater has a little angle back into lefties. And then this changeup, so it's even more tunneled, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. Because it's moving back this way, so he can even aim, he can even miss glove side, and it's playing even more off his fastball.
I was always curious with guys like Devin with hitters coming up to the plate, because these two pitches are almost too good. I don't know what the approach is at the plate. Do you just sit change up and then fight off the fastball, or do you just have to sit heater and foul off the changeup? I have no idea what plan I would have going up there.
I mean, I don't know. This is Sawinski, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
So go back, like 2-0, down 1, and this is a fastball down the middle at 93, which most major league hitters can hit, right?
Yeah.
They can hit a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. The changeup is the reason that ball's taken, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm him, you're praying you get to 2-0 and then it's sell out, and then you're going to look like an idiot when it's a changeup, but it's difficult. This pitch is moving in a way that's difficult to get a barrel on. Like that pitch is a strike and you can barely do anything with it.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a very good hitter. I feel like you've got to just try and barrel the heater when you get it.
Well, you said last week you're allowed to talk about anything hitting because you have a nuke under your.
I do have one home.
Yeah, so we're good. We're talking to Barry Bonds.
And the reason I asked was that pitch in particular, it looks like Sawinski is sitting changeup
Right.
because of the fastball freezing him. But then when he throws the changeup, he's completely early. So I'm like, what's Sawinski's plan up there? What's anybody's plan up there when you're facing a guy like Devin?
Yeah, I mean, it's just difficult. I mean, it's a really, and it's late. Like that thing, it does a lot in the last 6 feet that you can kind of even see it, that it's, and it's not this big thing, but I don't know. I think how he sets up hides it. The fact that it's more of a downer, obviously, I think the numbers would say it has a pretty decent amount of run on it.
Yeah.
But that's perceived, right? Because it's coming out from over here. It's running, but I mean, it's going left to end up, and it plays like it's going straight down. And I think for him, he's been so successful because straight down means side neutral, right? That means righties and lefties, it's the same pitch too. And it's not like lefties, typically the ball going away from any hitter is a negative for that hitter, right? And so this thing not leaking either way is a huge deal for him and why he's been so successful.
Yeah. This is quintessential airbender from him on 3-2, getting that kind of swing. That's disgusting from him. And like, if your only takeaway on this pitch is gross, that's fine. But what are you seeing here on that kind of swing on 3-2?
Yeah, I mean, the velocity, number one, it's got enough on it that it looks like a fastball for a long time. And I think showing a righty and a lefty shows you like the spin is not hidden on one side or the other, right? Sometimes you can throw certain pitches that a righty can see a dot or see a weird spin and the lefty can't because it's hidden on the wrong side of the ball. Like this thing's hidden to both sides, and that straight down action is it's tough to deal with.
Like Joe wasn't even close on that one. And
Connor can handle the ball down too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just incredible what he can do with that changeup.
The changeup is also probably one of the only pitches that you throw. A lot of these guys throw these pitches into areas that guys really handle the heater. Yeah. So you're getting like the excited swing, right? So Connor can hit the ball down. He thinks it's a fastball down, one that he can really handle, and then he's that far in front. And
it looks like a fastball down to him at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden
throwing it into like an excited zone for a hitter and then getting him to dive out. I didn't think about that. That's a really good point right there.
I mean, that's the whole basis of every off-speed pitch, right? Is getting them to want to hit that as a fastball, right? So
yeah.
But the changeup is probably the most hideable or the hardest to decipher.
Yeah.
Now this is a different thing here. So,
this is a totally different thing. It's classified as a splitter on Savant.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. So it's a split change. Like I've seen the grip. I've tried the grip. I can't do it. I don't really understand how he does it. But so we're talking about Devin, how his is so late, but it still has all that size. Like Tony's is moving the whole way.
Yeah. So I've got a 3-pitch sequence here to Blake Sable, and it's fastball that just misses off the outside black at 91.
And Tony has a pretty good fastball metrically. I know the velocity has been kind of up and down. Like I've seen Tony throw 100 when he was in the bullpen we were in Great Lakes together. He was throwing 100. Like,
damn.
But he found this thing, and you can see this thing's riding the whole way. But what that does is it gives him the ability to throw it in a lot of parts of the zone, right? Because the go zone or the area that ball is going to end up a strike is huge because it's moving so much, right?
Right.
And also, it says 82. I've seen him throw at 79. I've seen him throw at 85. Like at times he's throwing 95 and this thing's 80. And so you're talking curveball velocity difference with curveball movement with not like a curveball throw. That's the big thing on the changeup is like these guys can throw this in their hand. There's like a subconscious thing with hitters where like if I really wrap this ball, they may not know they see it, but they see that, right?
Yeah.
Because they're seeing hand.
Right.
They're not seeing the ball. And so it looks very. That's what everyone talks about. Like make it look like a fastball. Like okay, the spin is part of that, which this pitch spins like a UFO thing. Like it just spins like this. It doesn't. I don't think it looks like it's fastball. I don't know how it can, or at least on slow mo. Like when I watch him pitch and they throw the replays, it doesn't look like a fastball.
Yeah,
but it's sold so well because his hand is like that.
Yeah. So when I think splitter, I think not minimal separation, but I don't think as big as, like your cookie cutter changeup from your four seam fastball.
Yeah, like most real splitter, 2-finger fork ball splitter, whatever. I mean, the same thing with the Senga guy.
Yeah.
That kind of fork ball you expect to be 10 off. The splitter you expect to be like 5 off. You remember all the relievers, or for a while it was relievers were the split guys.
Yes.
So before that it was a Clemens and Schilling, guys like that were throwing these, Clemens would be 96 and he was throwing 92 mile an hour splitters.
Yeah. This
is a splitter that velocity difference allows it to be so much bigger. And I think it's just kind of a unicorn. I can't really think of a pitch that we've seen that's quite like this.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think about the Orioles bullpen, this guy Cano, who is a rookie now. Like he's kind of got that separation, but aside from that,
but that's off of 100, right?
Yeah.
So he's throwing, Tony will be 90 to 96, just depending on where he's at, and this thing's 79 to 84. Like,
yeah,
there's separation in terms of hard or really hard, sort of hard, slow. Like as you go down, if it's slow and really slow, that separation matters even more, I think.
Yeah.
So you see these guys that go really hard. Think Alvarado. It's like 101 sinker, 97 cutter. Like it's all pretty hard. It's just they just got to get on time for it being hard. This thing is slow.
Right.
Like it plays slow, and it really decelerates what these guys are trying to do.
So you said that, you were trying kind of that split change grip, and it just didn't really work for you.
Yeah, I'll cut it. So he's kind of in I forget if it's this finger or this finger that he kind of has the 2-seam around or whatever.
Trick thing.
Yeah, that's the pitch. It's a little alien pitch, right? Like,
yeah.
But what happens for me is I have a tough time getting inside of it, which essentially what you're doing is you're getting it here, taking your biggest power finger out of it, and being able to spin it off those 3 fingers, right?
It's so hard.
For me, I cut that ball almost every time because I can't get my hand to just let these 3 do it. So I'm always going to have this one involved, and these fingers are going to end up equal, and I'm going to cut it.
And it's obviously really hard to learn this pitch because it's so particular. How did he learn it? And then has he taught it to any of your other teammates? Like of any other?
Dude, there's been how many major leaguers in the history of the game? Like we haven't seen this thing thrown. Like, I don't know. There's angle. Guys have different arm actions and angles of how they go, and maybe his is a little bit. I don't think his is like significantly abnormal. Like it's not like he's throwing from here and he's throwing the Rogers slider that rises, right? Like it's not a arm slot thing. But I just think he has this weird ability to get that one finger out of the way and let the other 3 make this thing move the way it does. And he's been extremely successful. People don't really score runs off of him today. This game wasn't his best, right? But he's got like a 2-something ERA. Like he's been extremely successful, and that pitch is kind of it's both his biggest strength and his biggest get out of jail free card, right? I've seen so many 2-0s and 2-1 splitters popped up or swung through, and it kind of changes the at bat, and it's a huge weapon for him and for our team.
So going to Johan next. I mean, Johan, like I don't have a particular sequence cut here. I think I've got like an 8 punch out day from a start when he was in Minnesota. And this is prime Johan Santana that was must watch because this is one of the best changeups since 2000. Like this is one of the best changeups of the last couple of years.
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to say this is one of the best ones ever.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
actually pretty easily one of the best like straight changeups we've ever seen in baseball, right? Like this thing, you watch the first 2; those are probably 2 of the bigger changeups we've ever seen. This one is like, it's not very big, and it's only 9 off its heater, right? But it's sold, and you look at some of the throws. You look at them at 92, and the effort is there. You look at the changeup, and the effort's almost more.
More. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's almost more.
It looks like he's trying to throw those harder, and it's just what I was talking about with the hand and stuff. Like he sold that thing better than everyone and knew what he was doing with it. And there was that run there where he was about as good as anyone in the major leagues.
Dude, him and Liriano as the 1-2 in Minnesota was fun. And that was like formative years of baseball viewing for me. But I see what you're talking about here, because it's almost like, and he's not falling off, but it feels like he's throwing more of his body into 82 than he is 93, blowing it by. So you've got 93 here, and then you've got 83 just falling off.
Right. And even if the argument can be made that it looks like he's trying to throw it harder, like he's at least trying to throw it exactly the same, right? Like at bare minimum. And so I think that's a big part of this pitch and obviously his success. But yeah, that was one I grew up seeing and kind of not knowing how to do that, right? Like I couldn't figure that one out.
Was that one of those where you're in the backyard and you're like, damn it, like I want that. Why don't I have that?
When I try and throw like that changeup, it's just a horrendous fastball. Like it's like 6 miles an hour off. It's literally I've thrown in the bullpen like bad changeups at 91 when I'm 94 in the bullpen, so 3 miles an hour off. My fastball at its best ever was like 21-5.
Yeah.
And I throw changeups at like 16-5. Like it literally was just this much different and 3 miles an hour. Like it was horrible.
So you figured one out though, and you've got this in your bag now, and you're the last one that we're going to talk about. I got 2 punchies, one of Brandon Nimmo, and then one here of Mike Yastrzemski. So these are 2 lefties.
I have to tell you, I'm not too happy about the fact that you put this. The Giants went in, just FYI.
Really? Okay.
Well, so first, this is when I'm feeling good. That one was pretty nice. So I found a way to just get my hand in this really weird spot where I can throw it the way that I like to feel stuff and kind of cut it, let it spin out. But it's too hard, and half the time it's really not very good. I have to have the TrackMan in the bullpen now just so we can decide if that pitch is viable that day or not. Like, there's days where we literally will go through a whole scouting report and I'll go to the bullpen and throw 5 changeups and be like, yeah, no changeups today. And then there's days that we'll be like, okay, we can do it's allowed. Like it.
You got to wave the green flag if that's going in. Yeah. So this is 91. And what's your average spin on your 4-seamer? Is it like 25?
2,400 probably.
24. So this is about 14.
Yeah, it's the only thing I've ever been able to kill spin on. And I don't know why. I don't know why this grip works. I've also tried to show this grip to everyone that will listen to me. Because if I can kill spin and kill vert, like I'm horrible at doing this. So any guy that can do that, my assumption is that maybe this would be good for them. And any guys that can't, like I can, maybe this will help them too. But yeah, it's the only thing I've ever figured out, at least since my surgery. In college, I had a decent changeup, but I only had one ligament, and it was the one that ended up blowing. But that one decided it let me go to that side of the ball.
So you're looking out for the other crappy supinators, is what you're saying.
Right.
So, I love talking these with you, Walker, because you just downplay your stuff. Like I'm watching these 2 changeups; they're nasty.
Oh, when this thing's right, it'll be 91, 90. I threw one of the first ones I ever threw in a game. Once I found this little grip, I threw one at like 94 that was like 0-18.
Damn.
It was like the best pitch I've ever thrown. And I front hipped a guy with it. I remember it. I actually tried to find it. We were talking about my changeup the other day at the field, and I tried to find it. I thought it was to Eduardo Escobar, but I don't think the one I threw him was quite that. But like there are some good ones that come out, but they'll also be 7-7 and be 92, and people will kill them.
Yeah. So why are you pissed about this one?
Well, I got hurt in this game, bud.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And also, I've never really talked about it. The first thing I felt in my elbow in this game was warming up before this inning.
Shit.
So I ended up throwing 2 more innings but you can see the way I'm walking around and stuff. Like I'm in a pretty fair amount of pain right there.
Shit, man.
But it is what it is. It was a good changeup.
Yeah, it was a good.
It is a very good changeup. I'm curious too. What when you're feeling that kind of pain, are you wanting to pitch it, or are you just like, let me get out of here?
Both. I mean, you have this insane war with yourself and your brain. I don't know. My whole junior year, I was kind of my ligament was like tearing, so I ended up having a 75 or 80% tear. But I had an MRI before the year, and it was fine. So I still pitched. I still threw 85 innings my junior year of college. So I think that year kind of taught me how to somewhat. And I get pitch hurt or pitch through pain is such like a macho-y thing, but like. That's what I did, and it was what it was. And but no, I think that was the first time since then that I was like, oh shit, like this is not a normal little grab or twinge, or I've thrown X amount of innings this year, like I'm tired. Like it wasn't that. It was like, oh, something's getting fucked up in there.
I got you. Well, hey, appreciate you walking us through that one, and appreciate you as always, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, all good. Congrats, Wyndham Clark, U.S. Open today. Valor alum. So my little brother played at Valor High School.
Valor, where is Valor?
That's in Denver. So my little brother went to high school there. Christian McCaffrey went there. Insane athletic school. So this is one of my favorite stories. They opened as a school. They won 1A state championship in football. They moved them up 5 consecutive years. So 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. And then they went back-to-back 5A state champs in football. So they won like 6 or 7 straight championships. My brother won a state title there, baseball player. But yeah, shout out to Valor.
Damn. Did all the McCaffreys go to Valor?
Yeah, all of them went there. My brother was there around the time the quarterback, the kid, I think his name's Dylan.
Dylan McCaffrey.
Yeah, so my brother and him were around the same age, maybe one year different. So
got you.
But shout out! They have the Vanderbilt V logo. So I've actually worn like their hoodies and stuff like that, and people think it's Vanderbilt the whole time. They have some cool stuff.
Love it. All right, Walker Buehler, appreciate you, man.
Cheers, man.
Baby.
This is awesome.
See you guys.